Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time it's being John Malkovich, the 1999 movie Being John Malkovich, which is currently on Netflix. So before I get to it, let me take care of some business and then we'll get into it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the very end. You're going to see a video that pops up here. And if you like what you see there, hit the subscribe button down there. Basically, what YouTube does takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule that I put up there. I change it out every Monday. And also, I just realized I'm trying to remember if I changed it out this last week. I don't think I did. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go through and do that. But also all the links to my social media are there. So Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon page. So yeah, that's all there. Actually, I did switch it out. Oh, wow. Okay. Good. My brain is just that's why I'm late, by the way, right now is work. That pesky little thing called work got in the way, and yeah, it's been a pain in the ass. So ah, but I'm here now and I get to talk about a good movie. Well, you don't know for sure if it's good or not yet. You'll get to it in a minute. Let's get to it, shall we? So, non-spoiler version. If you haven't seen this movie was released in 1999. You had 21 years to watch it or see it on DVD, video, electronic, all that kind of stuff. So, basically, all you need, it's on Netflix right now. You can actually see it on Netflix. Um, is it worth your time? This is an existential movie, if you will. It's let me backtrack a little bit before I give my verdict on this. So I was reading IO9, and IO9 happened to have an article about this movie saying that, um, or actually mentioned this movie saying, "Hey, Being John Malkovich is kind of a horror movie, much in the respect of like Get Out, only without the racism involved in Get Out." Um, and I started thinking about it, I'm like, it kind of is. So, what is Being John Malkovich about? Um, it's about a puppeteer who finds a doorway in a building that he's working in, and the doorway leads to John Malkovich's mind. And these people can inhabit John Malkovich's mind for 15 minutes, and then they get ejected out in the New Jersey Turnpike, off to the side of the road. Um, and yeah, it goes existential from there. So this is where the fantasy element comes into it, but also the horror element too, because um, can you take over someone's body at this point, or is it just joyriding, or how does it go? It's very very weird. So this is written by Charlie Kaufman. Charlie Kaufman was writing a lot of stuff in the 90s and some really weird shit in the 90s, some good stuff too, and directed by Spike Jones, which if you ever seen the movie Her, or there's other movies that he's done quite a few. He does a lot of edgy indie movies is what he was doing at the time, and this was like one of his first ones, and it stars John Cusack, of course, John Malkovich, Cameron Diaz, and Catherine Keener. And is it worth your time? Yeah, it is. Honestly, it starts off a little bit slow because of that's how it is. But then once the door is found, everything starts moving along really, really quickly. I'm not going to give away anything more than that in the non-spoiler version. So for those of you who are still here, spoiler. Oh, wow. Wrong thing. I'm not flipping you off, but it just happens to be there. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the rest of this movie. If you haven't seen the movie, go and watch it on Netflix. You had 21 years to watch it. Go and watch it. I mean, it's there. Go and watch it for Christ's sake. Um, yeah, this movie has a little bit of everything in it. You've got body horror because Craig, who is played by John Cusack, is this puppeteer who finds out when he's in Malkovich, he can actually take him over and he can stay longer than 15 minutes. And Malkovich is aware of this at some point. He actually, is fighting it, but he gets taken over. And you also have this group of old people that are going to go and inhabit John Malkovich on his 44th birthday, which you find out later on. And that if you try and enter the vessel after the 44th birthday, after midnight on the 44th birthday, and they don't say midnight, I guess, of where that person is, or if it's midnight Greenwich Mean Time or whatever, but it's midnight, you end up in the subconscious of the next vessel, which would be a baby. Um, so there's a couple of weird things about this movie. I mean, other than being in John Malkovich, that kind of I was thinking of. I haven't seen this movie, I would say, in like 15 years, something like that. It's been a while since I've seen this movie, and it holds up very, very well. It does still hold up very, very well. It's a very weird movie. It's a very existential movie because of what uh it brings up the whole question of who you are, um and then also questions some stuff too. And one of the things I had questions of is Dr. Jenner. So Dr. Jenner, we find out, is actually a vessel who's been inhabited by a guy who built the building that Craig is working in. And John Malkovich is the next vessel that Jenner is going to go into, and Jenner is 105 years old, is what he says, and John Malkovich is going to be turning 44, or he's 43 at the time that we see him. So, does that mean that Jenner is the father of Malkovich? Because they never really say this. And we even get a little bit of glimpse into some of John Malkovich's subconscious when uh, Catherine Keener's character is being chased by Lottie, Cameron Diaz's character. So, uh, yeah, it's like I said, Maxine is being chased by Lottie through Malkovich's subconscious, and we're seeing some of his childhood, and it's a very chaotic childhood. It's just some weird stuff, of course, because at the end of the movie, Craig, who ends up getting booted out of Malkovich, or he leaves Malkovich, I should say, and he's trying to come back in, ends up being trapped in um, the daughter that he and Maxine, I guess, created while he was in Malkovich. Although Maxine says it was when Lottie was in Malkovich. And let's go back to Lottie. So Lottie, who is Craig's wife, when she goes into Malkovich, realizes that she's really a man trapped in a woman's body, that she is a transsexual. So it is a trans movie as well. And this is 1999, mind you. So this is still like way out there. It's ahead of its time at this point. And Craig is just a monumental asshole. He's kind of a controlling asshole, even though he is also downtrodden, but he can, even downtrodden people can be assholes as well. And he kind of victimizes Lottie as much as he's being victimized by Maxine, and Maxine kind of victimizes both of them, um, because that's who she is. So they're really not great people in the long run of all of this. They're not really people that you're rooting for, but at the same time, the existentialism of what's happening is what makes this thing so weird. That's why I had to cover it. And that's why it's a horror movie, really. If you go in and look at it, it's kind of it is a horror movie. Um yeah, and then of course, let's talk about the Malkovich going into his own mind. So Malkovich at one point discovers that they are selling that Craig and Maxine are selling tickets, if you will, to be Malkovich for 15 minutes. So you get to ride in Malkovich's head and see what's going on for 15 minutes at a time. And he ends up going into his own mind and go, what the hell's going on here? I want to see what this is. And when he goes into his own mind, everybody has his face. And instead of talking, they say Malkovich. So it's Malkovich, 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 which freaks him the fuck out, which it should. And he pops out in the New Jersey Turnpike and basically says this needs to stop. And that's, of course, when Craig inhabits him and takes over. And for like a year. Yeah. So good movie. I mean, you get some creepiness. You get a lot of creepiness. It's Charlie Kaufman, by the way. So yes, you're going to get a lot of creepiness out of Charlie Kaufman. John Cusack does an excellent job of playing creepy as well. Cameron Diaz with the frizzy, frumped up hair and just the downtrodden demeanor of her, where she's kind of beaten down, if you will. Uh, it does an excellent job as well. This is where I started realizing that she could actually act beyond the fluff stuff that she was doing. And Catherine Keener, of course, is Catherine Keener. She's always great and kind of seems to almost play the same kind of roles every now and then. But yeah, and of course Malkovich is Malkovich. So and Malkovich. So is it worth your time? Yeah, it's worth your time. Give it a shot. If you are one of those people that has not seen this movie, definitely go and watch it. It's a mind trip. It is something that, like I said, it does hold up well uh, in today's world. I mean, there's even there's a couple of scenes of Malkovich being noticed out in the street or in a cab or something like that, and having conversations with regular people, with fans, and this whole thing of them. The one in the taxi cab is great, where he's just the cab driver's like, "Wait a minute, I know you. You're John. I'm almost Maplethorpe. No, Malkovich. Oh yeah, that's right, Malkovich. I loved you in that movie. You know that one where you played a jewel thief. I never played a jewel thief. Really? I think you kind of did. That whole exchange there of being famous and then having these really weird conversations with people. It happens a couple times in the movie, is really great as well. So you get that going on too. Yeah, you don't want to be in my mind. My mind's full of junk and sharp objects too. It just really is a minefield. It's not worth it. That's not worth it. But this movie is. This movie is definitely worth your time. So, what else do I have going on this week? Tamarok says, saw it once on network. Definitely will watch it again. Thanks to this. Yeah, Tamarok's network TV cuts things up a bit. Definitely watch it on Netflix. It's a different experience. And it's creepy too. Like I said, it's think of it and go into it with a mind that it's a horror movie. It's going to be a slow burn horror movie in a way. But it still is. I didn't realize it when I watched this in the theater in 1999 when it first came out. And then, of course, when it came out again, I think it came out on cable again, like I want to say it was like 2005. It was running on one of the movie channels. Ended up watching it again. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. This is really good. And I think there's a Charlie Kaufman revival at one point in the early 2000s there, and they were doing a whole bunch of those movies. So yeah, and welcome back, Tamarocks. I know I've seen you around here and there, but glad to see you back. So what else do I have going on this week? Tomorrow I'm off. Saturday is Saturday morning blast off, where I take the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and we talk about it. And it's going to be an early edition of Saturday morning blast off. It starts at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Why does it start at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time? Because DC Fandom starts at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I figured you guys get a little bit of news, and then we go into DC Fandom, and we can all watch that. Sunday is going to be Lovecraft Country on HBO. I'm covering Lovecraft Country. It's going to be episode 2. episode 2 of season 1. Monday, I'm off. Tuesday is going to be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I don't know what I'm doing as of yet. I will figure something out. And Wednesday, I'll be off. And then again, Thursday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And then, of course, we're going to be kicking into the September releases. So we're going to get like The Boys season 2, Raised by Wolves on HBO. There's a couple other things that are coming out as well. So, yeah. Penn Farm Girl says, I haven't seen it since it was first released on tape. Yeah, it was released on VHS. You're correct, Penn. That's when VHS was starting to be phased out a little bit, but it was released on VHS. DVD was still fairly new at the time, so it was being released on DVD as well. But yeah. Yeah, it's good to go back and revisit some of these classic movies that you may not have seen in a while, or you remember fondly, and you're just like, and then you go back and watch, you go, oh my god, that sucked. Um, or you rewatch it and you're like, holy shit, that's actually pretty relevant and pretty good. And I keep meaning to go back, with Is It Worth Your Time? And Is It Worth My Time, I should say. And kind of go back into the classics a little bit, but new stuff keeps popping up and I have to keep, present on that. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for The Boys season 2 as well. And season 3. There's some news for season 3, which I'll bring up on Saturday. It's some good news. Some damn good news. What else? Yeah. One of my former coworkers. Hey, Melissa. Oh man. Melissa is saying here, I've had that happen a few times where I thought, why in the world did I think this was good? Yeah, when you've actually watched something and you're just like, holy crap, that really sucked. I've done that a couple of times too. You never want to watch childhood classic, or what you thought was a childhood classic and rewatch it again, because then you're going to go as an adult. No, don't do it. Although some stuff does hold up, mainly for nostalgia. But yeah. So that's all I got for you. I'm going to let you guys go for the evening. Thank you to everyone who joined me tonight in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the little video that pops up here at the end. And if you like that, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to know blah 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 blah, if I can actually speak, if you want to know when I'm going to be live again next, hit the bell down below. And that's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule up there, and all the links to my social media and pages up there as well. Mork says, I hope Terror shows up in The Boys. I don't think he will. But yeah. Tamrock says, I loved Willow as a kid. Well, good news. Ron Howard is working hard to get a Willow TV series on Disney Plus, is what he's trying to do. Yeah. That's I've been hearing about that for a while now, but until they actually start filming it, I don't believe it. And I really don't want Willow unless you have Mad Mardigan in there. And then of course it's got to be like more Mad Mardigan than just the 5 minutes that they had in Willow. Yeah. Morks, you're welcome, Morks. Yeah, I like being able to do Is It Worth My Time? It's flexible a bit, and I can choose weird stuff like being John Malkovich. Malkovich. Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Thank you. Have a good night, and I will see you again on Saturday for Saturday morning blast off bright and early if I can make it up. Hopefully, I'll have to work extra hard on Friday night in order to get everything ready so that I'll be ready on Saturday and not be late like I normally am. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Saturday. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, because that means you're sliding in John Malkovich and you're going to be him for 15 minutes before you get spit out in the New Jersey Turnpike. And you really don't want that to happen. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Stay safe, be well, and take care. Thanks.